And welcome to this video which covers the levels of processing. This is part of the cognitive psychology topic for stage 1 psychology. Let's get started. So in 1972, Craik and Lockhart decided that the mere repetition of information was not enough to explain why some memories last longer than others. So they proposed that the way we process the information at the encoding stage, which is part of the information processing model, was the most important factor and whether we would later recall it. So there are 3 levels of processing that they proposed: the structural, the phonetic, and the semantic. So as we can see here, the structural is the most shallow, so it focuses on the least amount of information. Then we go into deeper levels of processing, which is the phonetic, so what we hear. And then the deepest level of processing is the semantic, so relating things to concepts that we already know in our long-term memory. So let's go into these in more detail. So starting with the structural processing, which is the shallowest out of the 3. So it occurs when information is processed on its visual features only. So if we were to look at word lists, for example, this could be the use of capital or lowercase letters, perhaps the shape of the word, the color of the word itself. So according to Craik and Lockhart's level of processing, this is the shallowest level and results in rapid decay of the information, meaning it's very easy to forget very quickly. The next level is the phonetic processing. So this occurs where information is processed by sound only. So this could mean that the word lists are read out loud or that a rhyming word is thought of when each word is read out. So it was suggested that this processing occurs at an intermediate level as it would decay less rapidly than structural processing. Hence, it's the next level down in terms of it being processed. Then we have the semantic processing. So this involves making sense of the information in terms of what is already understood. So with word lists, this could involve assigning meaning to the words with a task, such as putting them into an appropriate sentence. So doing so is going to provide the deepest level of processing. So giving the information meaning, in other words, based on what we already know, is going to be the deepest level of processing and therefore is more likely to be retained in the long-term memory for longer than the other levels of processing. So this is often why your teachers or people will tell you in aiding with revision that you need to try and relate this to something you already know or relate it to a real life example that you're familiar with. So that's the whole point of semantic processing, because it makes it more likely you'll be able to store it in long-term memory and retrieve it later. So it is the preferable option for learning, as it is less likely to be forgotten and can be used in practical ways due to the deeper level of the understanding produced. So I hope you found this video useful. As always, if you've got any questions, let me know. Otherwise, happy revising.